Hi all, today is 28th of May, so we're at the end of May, we're almost in June, and I have got the eucalyptus tree stump out, just about, nearly killed me. For a tree that blew over in Storm Eunice back in February, surprisingly there was two taproots that just really were securing it in place, even though the whole thing was just wobbling. A lot of people asked me, was I going to keep it in, because obviously it's like re-sprouted at the bottom, so it's producing new leaves. But no, I'm ripping it out completely because I'm so wind exposed here. It was probably my own fault. As much as I love the tree, it was my own fault knowing that I'm such a wind prone location that during the winter months, when all the rest of my trees are deciduous, that an evergreen tree was catching the wind, and it was only inevitable. It was going to fall over. So I am replacing it with a Betula Jacquemontii, and that is to tie in with these two that I planted last year. So I planted these Easter 2021, I think it was. I'm going to mulch around them as well with a bag of bark, and that will form a line hopefully, so a line straight across and round. So yeah, there'll be the two circles and then the third one, which is going to be a wee fraction behind these two anyway, but hopefully they'll catch up. Once they get a bit of growth, they'll catch up. It'll go in there. I'm going to cut back Chelsea chops on that in the pita, and yeah, it'll form a nice kind of uniform line, even though it'll kind of be in that plant bed. I need to probably Chelsea chop a lot of that in the pita anyway, because it's getting so thick. And yeah, I don't normally like planting trees in summer. I normally leave it to autumn, but needs must. I want it sorted. So it'll get a really good drink in, and then a really good mulch afterwards to retain moisture, and then watered twice a week after that for, well, until the end of summer. And then hopefully from there it should support itself, all been well. Also, the bees are right behind me here, and just a quick update on them. The last one there, the smallest box, I don't want to get too close because they're very aggressive. I've already been stung today. Not that they're aggressive, but we've been working with them recently, and just they're slightly agitated. You know, they're trying to get back to their normal routine. But yeah, anyway, sorry, the reason for working our way through them was because one of the hives had laid another queen cell, so we've separated that queen cell, and it hatched a couple of days ago. You might have saw it on my Insta story. And that new queen has moved into that smaller box at the end, and she's going to start a new colony. So last year we only had 2 hives out of the 4 actually active, and the other 2 were purely for decoration, whereas this year all 4 hives are completely operational. And then behind me here, and this used to be our tree house growing up as kids, and then it became a dove house, and now it's a turf store. But anyway, underneath there is going to be 2 smaller nukes, or smaller hives, I think, and that's going to be for I suppose if more queen cells hatch, we have somewhere to put them. So I suppose just sort of succession planning that. It's my parents that look after the bees. I'm not actively into it myself, but I do try to keep an interest with it. You might have remembered as well, this bed last year was a wildflower meadow. I'm not doing that this year. There's a couple of piles of soil there, tipped up, and yeah, that's going to be planted out with perennials, maybe the odd shrub. It's not too big of a border, but we will see what happens. I'm just going to move now because I think the bees are getting quite agitated. And then this bed behind me here, this triangle bed, used to be a cut cornice bed. So I used it a lot for cut foliage and cut stems in winter, but I'm doing away with that now, and it's also becoming a perennial bed, which I started to plant out last September, October, so it's brand new. There's still a couple of gaps in there. There'll be some annuals going in to bulk that up, and otherwise that sort of will complete this middle tier. off my garden. We've also drained the pond. The pond got drained a week ago. It's now completely empty, and the rest of my weekend plans is to get in there and thin out some of the reeds that have just got really aggressive, really prolific, and they're starting to sort of just invade the pond too much. So trying to get that thinned out, and then once that gets done, the pump will go back on, the water will go back in, and it'll all be back to normal. And yeah, that is the update. So that's what I'm doing for the end of May. Just maybe saw on some of my posts, obviously the wind this year has been really sore in my garden. That's one of our new doves as well, or pigeons. Oops, there we go. Yeah, just the wind has been really sore on the garden this year. Plants normally I would have out for April aren't even out now, and we're almost in June. We're a couple of days off June, so yeah, that's a wee bit annoying, but the weather cannot be planned for, so we will just work with it. Yeah, that is all my updates. Thank you. Also, one last thing, I just kind of want to show you this border. So this is my most southerly facing border. It's a massive big sort of crescent moon, almost a circle in itself. It borders the strip of grass, the sort of path that runs around the pond, so it sort of continues in with that circle. Something I'm really excited about this year is this guy. This is Magnolia Zambondii. So Magnolia Zambondii are uncommon enough. I wouldn't say they're rare, but they're uncommon. It's a summer flower magnolia, so it's a magnolia that flowers with leaves, with a flower in summer, not spring. And there is a bumblebee. Oh my goodness, I'm just being attacked by bees all day, every day, steady at the minute. The flowers are also slightly fragrant, except they're too far up for me to smell. I'll try and see if I can get a close-up of one. But the most important thing about this is it's the first time in the 7 or 6 years, I can't remember how long I've owned this plant, that it's flowered. So oh my goodness, I thought we were never going to get there. But yeah, really happy about that, really excited about that. And it's not just one flower, it's actually laden with about, I think about 20 blooms there that are pending to come out. And anyway, this border behind me, I've completely restructured the colour theme. So as you maybe know, depends I think how long maybe you have been following my page, this area here is kind of, I don't know what you'd call this, it's like a comma shape, it's kind of like a teardrop, and then it works its way around. It started off as a white border originally. I went through this, not obsession, but I went through this interest in white flowers and sort of white flora, and I kind of got a bit bored of it very quickly. And I've decided to diversify and add lots of colour in, but you can kind of still see that it's quite prominently white at this end. I'm trying to sort of thin that out and integrate it into this colour palette behind here. And this is all going to be purple, gold, orange, silver, some white and some blue. Will be the main colour theme in here. It's still early days yet, and it might be next year before it's properly looking its best. But yeah, that is, oh, and also because it's so south facing and the beech hedge is behind and absorbs all the moisture out of the soil, this area tends to be quite dry, so the plants have to be drought tolerant, they have to be colourful. I'm looking approximately 8 to 9 months of colour within the year, so yeah, I'm not asking for much, and good succession flora, so I just want it all to intermingle and keep going from, let's say, March to November. So yeah, I'm not asking for much, and then obviously the wind chill factor on top of that. But I'm going to get lots of annuals in here to fill those gaps, and that's going to really keep the colour going. But like I said, this could be a year off before it's properly going. There's loads of other plants in here last year and they got ripped out in the autumn, and they've just been relocated to other parts of the garden. So anything that didn't match the colour brief has been removed, or anything that was too tall or getting too invasive has also been, it has been divided and relocated, rehomed, whatever. So yeah, just need to keep working with it. But yeah, it gets sun all day long. It bakes. It's very sore on mulch, this bed, because every time I mulch it just disappears. The ground just eats it up. It's like swallowed alive. So yeah, I am trying to work with that. I might incorporate more grasses actually, for that sort of drought tolerancy. But things that are doing really well are the geums at the minute. The ericium's doing really well. The Senecio, the angel wing, is lovely. It's just bright silver. These poppies are doing great. I was actually gonna, I was thinking about taking those poppies out, but I think I will keep them in now. I'm getting the gold through the Hebe James Sterling, which is in the back there. And also the Stipa chimissima. So just like wee slight accents. It's not true gold, if you know what I mean, but in plant terms it's goldish. Yeah, so that is all the updates down here.